the campaign day, week number one. Tim O'Shea, Rob Thompson here. Rob's in the closet in the storage room, and Tim is in the professional studio. Back fresh from Toronto. He flew out and he staggered back. He's missing a liver and brain cells. Yeah, he left him. They didn't let you back over the border with it. This is the 2-minute drill presented by Gridiron1880.com, Wild Society Nutrition, and Coca-Cola New England Bottling. Timothy, how are you, sir? Yes, congratulations. Well, thanks for having you. You are the co-host.
What's going on, Rob? Thanks for having me.
Which we will be going live. So we're going to have a game day live up at Mohegan Sun this fall. Later in the fall, we want to see the season get going so we can pick and choose which games we're going to feature. Obviously, this weekend, week one, is a blockbuster. 5 days of football. The great thing about it is now you have an excuse not to leave the couch for 5 days or 4 days.
Oh, very nice. We got some really good games coming up this weekend, too. A lot of ranked teams starting off the season really hot. Some games that are happening this weekend are going to have implications for the end of the season. So it's going to be exciting to see. A couple of new faces
coming out of the gate. Usually it's kind of a big team. It's going to be exciting to watch. Conference. You're going to hope that you don't get knocked off by a Central Michigan or an App State or one of those schools. But these guys are going at it. As a player, you love that, right? You don't care. You want to come out fired up out of camp and you get a top-ranked team, So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that one?
100%. I think for the smaller school, I think there's a lot of opportunity to be had. I mean, a lot of these schools, I played at Wagner for a year, and they're going to Kansas this weekend and playing Kansas, going to a big stadium like that, Big 12 team, very exciting. And so when they get those opportunities for those smaller schools, it's a great opportunity. But for those bigger schools, you want to see what you got right off the bat. I'm looking at Alabama, Florida State this weekend, right? I mean, Florida State coming off a really bad season last year. And then Alabama with a couple of new faces, new quarterback. We got to see what they're made of. Are they the same team as last year? Is Florida State at home going to upset a ranked Alabama team? Are they super improved from last season? Was that just a fluke? So there's a lot of things. Week one is a time to see what your team is made of. And for like I said, those smaller schools, it can be a great opportunity to show out against a school that you might not see in the regular season or even for your whole career. I lost you, Rob.
You got me?
You got me? All right.
No idea what just happened.
I hear you. We're back.
We're back.
We're still going.
That's a place where we just put in the commercial break.
Yeah.
Back from the commercial. I definitely agree with you. And I also think if you do get knocked off earlier on like Notre Dame did and had such a great run in the playoffs, I think it gives you time during the season to recover. So yeah, and especially if you come out rolling and you win it, you win the game, and then you're even a better position, and then you could take probably a later hit if that happens. So I think it's a win-win for both. It sets a tone. I think you believe in the players. It's less about the coaches because the coaches try to stack it to their advantage. Which is obviously normal. But anyway, so it's going to be a fun weekend. I don't remember a weekend in college football like this. And I think the college playoffs have definitely led to this strategy, right? And how they look at the strength of schedule, who you beat, all of those things. I think this is definitely opened up the doors to have a kickoff weekend that's as intense as this one.
Yeah, I mean, teams are going to get into the postseason now with 2 or 3 losses. So it's not just stack your schedule with, I would say like easy knockoff schools and get as many wins as you can before you have to start facing some tough conference opponents. Now you want to get some film on the guys that you're going to be seeing in the postseason. So I think it's a great thing for the sport. And I think the week 1s through 3 are the hardest for coaches because you don't have any film. You go 3 weeks back to watch film of games. And, without any film, this is a premier time for some upsets, especially, with a team like Florida State or Alabama that I was just talking about.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. It's exciting. I think the buzz is so different than this year than it's ever been before. It's probably because we're paying attention to it a lot more too, and you're kind of looking at it. Plus, you got the guys that are transferring all over the place, So there's just so much to talk about year round about college football now, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point it takes over. It might be crazy to say this, but it may take over and at least compete in the popularity of the NFL.
Yeah. I can see it. It's definitely heading that way for sure. And these players, it's almost financially, it's almost the NFL right now. I mean, players, I just saw something before this podcast saying that Arch Manning is estimated to get $6 million per year. And that number is only going to go up for stars, and increasing those brands, increasing NIL, increasing compensation is only going to put them more in the limelight on TV and international viewership. So, yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
I mean, just think about this. When you meet guys, especially guys that play college football, you're definitely judged by where you played in college. And football-wise, again, player to player, there's a competitive thing to it, but there's a mutual respect, regardless of what level you played or where you played. That's inherent, but it's the general public, right? In the general public, you could be, because a lot of guys are more popular when they play college football than when they play in the NFL, or if they play in the NFL. So they make their notoriety during their college days, right? There's so many guys that just don't make it. I think it's more impressive in the general public's eye where you play college football than if you played in the NFL or not.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think being an NFL player is such an upper echelon, 0.1%. And it's a job too, right? I think you are definitely right, though. I think it definitely, in the public's eye, if you played Division II, even at a good Division II school or a good Division III school, even now it's even D1. If you played at a small Division I school, you're going to be looked at differently in the public eye than someone that says, I went to Ohio State, I went to Michigan, even if they were a walk-on or a kicker, never saw the field. Especially, and I think gambling also has a huge tie to that as well. It just makes more people watch the game, watch the bigger schools, and now you're even betting on the players. You get to know the players. You're looking at lines. Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. And it definitely matters where you go to school in the public's eye.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Like you said, you could be a walk-on, never see the field, but you walked on at Alabama or Auburn or doesn't matter, Syracuse, and people would look at you differently, And even if you didn't play it down or you just ran on kickoffs for 2 years, you never made it to the NFL, you still have a really high level of respect, by the general public, And but I use this analogy all the time. Video games have been the greatest promotion and engagement for fans, especially with the expansion. I know. You probably played, the Premier League in soccer, right, with EA Sports, right? And you start getting to know who these soccer players are. It's the same thing for college football. My son tells me now, he's like, I know every player on Hawaii. He goes, I know every player. I know the backups. I know every player. He goes, it's only because of the EA college football. And I think that in and of itself, especially for schools and the licensing, even though the schools may not get the licensing, the players get it, right, where they get $500 or $2,500 or whatever it may be. That in and of itself is probably the greatest NIL deal going, not from a monetary standpoint, but from an overall brand perspective. And I think it's just going to continue to grow that way, so.
That's a terrific point, and especially if they're trying to grow the game globally, that's also going to have a huge impact is video games. I learned how to play football. I learned the rules of football in Madden 2004, 2006, like just playing it repeatedly. I remember I couldn't figure out if I kick the ball out of bounds, why am I getting a penalty every single time? I couldn't figure that out. But then you eventually learn, you get it, and you start reading defenses, plays, and it's like, okay, you can fundamentally get the game through video games. So that's a great point because they have a huge impact on how people view the game.
Monster impact on it. Yeah, I mean, it just, especially, I always use the example of the Premier League in soccer. Right? Yeah. It's these U.S. kids really get to know who, they're not watching the games live. They're playing them, and it's the same with college football and Madden, right? You get to know who the players are on all these teams because of Madden, And if you're a degenerate gambler and some other stuff, but or a fantasy person. But anyway, so I digress.
Yeah. But now the college football games have names on them. They have trophies. The Walter Camp Trophy or the Walter Camp Award is on the game now. They didn't have that before. The college football games from years past just had numbers because they couldn't. But now that's completely changed as well.
Yeah, so they did a deal with us. So it's through this national organization, the College Football Awards Association. It aggregates all the 75 different awards that are out there, and obviously Walter Camp being one of them, and the Player of the Year. It's interesting, you got the Heisman, then you got the Player of the Year, but we're still in there. We're fighting for the All-American team, for next year or the year after, but we'll get there.
Yes, we will.
Anyway, so this is Game Day Week 1. Tim O'Shea, I'm Rob Thompson, and we're battling through the technology challenges we're having today, but darn it, we're going to do it. This is the eve of Week 1, 100 great games this weekend. But anyway, so I want to take this time to talk a little bit about what we're doing. We're going to have a player of the with Walter Camp and the awards. We're going to have a Player of the Week award that's going to go out to Division I all the way down to NAIA. We're going to have a game ball, the Walter Camp game ball, that's going to be given out by our content creators if they're live at a game to college or high school players. That's new this year. Then we're going to have the Game Changer Weekly Awards by Chris Polk, who's one of our associates that works within the Gridiron 1880. I don't know why it's taking me so long to spit this out. And I wrote it down. I got the notes for it. And then we're going to have our fan vote. So this technology that we have for the fan vote. By the way, Tim, this is the first time in 136 years that fans, family, players, media has a vote in the Walter Camp, the 136th Walter Camp All-American team.
That's huge. And I think we talked about it last podcast episode as well, how that is so important to getting more people to get involved in the college football landscape and check out the Walter Camp Award as well in the foundation. So that's a super cool initiative that we're taking on.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, but the software is great. It gives you rankings. It's you'll be able to follow along players as they go through the season. Guys are going to switch on and off based on their rankings, so it's pretty cool. It's not just hey, go on and just kind of have your vote and that's it. You get to do it multiple times. Anyways, so let's jump into it. This is the Walter Camp 2-minute drill, and Tim is our suspect. In our that we're going to have this week. I don't even know if that word goes in there, but I'll edit it out anyways. So you're our subject. You're our alum. You're a college football alum, and these are questions that we ask all college football alums when they come on our show. And there are 10 questions with a bonus in there, and it gives you a little bit of insight into what Tim's experience was like playing college football. So here we go. You ready, Tim?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what is your favorite word that describes your experience playing football? What's that one word?
Leadership. I think I was team captain. That's my biggest honor as a football player, leadership.
Beautiful. What is the word or phrase in football that you could do without today? What is that word you could? Oh, get on the line. Who cares if it's a word? It's a great phrase. It's a scary phrase, right? Get on the line. It's the worst. What moment in football, your career, because you were at a couple different places, gave you the biggest rush? What was that moment that you just had the biggest rush in what you did?
Man, when we beat Central Connecticut State, Southern Connecticut State beat Central Connecticut State, so it was D1 versus D2 school. I scored the first touchdown of the season for our team in that game. That was amazing. That was the best experience of my entire life from a football perspective, and we ended up upsetting them. Amazing.
Nothing better than getting out of the gate on the first upset. What's the one thing about the game today that frustrates you the most?
I would have to say, I would say how NIL has become more of a leveraging tool than it has become compensation for players. I think that it's great to pay the players. I'm all for that. But I feel like sometimes the integrity of the game can get lost in that from time to time.
I gotcha. Okay. Depends on how the narrative goes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice, unfiltered advice, that you ever received from a coach, from a parent, from an official? What was
Yeah.
the best unfiltered advice?
I think it's not where you start; it's where you finish. I moved around a couple times during my college career, and I think I started out as like the walk on, just trying to make squad, do what I can. Ended up as a captain for our team. One was the better players on our team. So it's not where you start; it's where you finish.
I love that. Yeah, that is so true. And a lot of kids can't, they bail too early.
Yeah.
They bail too early. What sound from your playing days brings back the best memories? What is that sound? Yeah.
I would say like the crowd cheering, like some big play happens and everyone at once just uproars and a loud clap. And then obviously our theme song at school, like the school band and stuff.
Yeah, that's very good. What smell? What smell or taste takes you back to your playing days?
Dude, yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. It's that transition from summer to fall where it's
Yeah.
like not too cold. It's just nice outside. And you're starting to get that fall scent. It's in the air. I don't even know how it smells. It just smells like football in the start of the season, and it just I that's the smell. I can't even really describe it, but I think if you played football, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It's the smell of like wet grass and leaves.
Yes, exactly.
Wet grass and leaves.
The cool
Yeah,
breeze.
and a cool breeze. If you were to start a business today as a student athlete, what would it be?
If I was to start a business, I would NIL. It has to be NIL. Has to be. It's. There's so many ways you can go about it. There's so many ways you can take advantage of it, especially in the lower divisions. So NIL for sure. I would start that and start it on do videos, podcasts, and content.
Who had the biggest impact on your life outside of football, and why?
Ooh, my mom and my dad for sure. Always tell me to persevere, and my grandfather as well. He passed away, but those three, along with some other family members for sure.
Bonus round. That was 10, but this is bonus. What do you think of the current state of college football?
I don't think it's ever been bigger, and I think the trajectory is only going up. I do fear for some of the smaller schools, FCS schools, D2, D3. I hope they, don't get zoned out with all the money that's going to be coming in. And I don't think that the changes have stopped. I think that the Power Five schools, or the Power Four now, will be have a lot. They have a lot of authoritarian power. So hopefully that doesn't drown out the smaller schools. But the game is only going to get bigger. The brands are only going to get bigger. It's great for the game. We're in a really good spot right now.
Very good. Extra bonus round.
Gotcha.
Double bonus. Favorite memory about attending the Walter Camp weekend, and if you have one.
Oh yeah, I interviewed John Randall, Will Shields, Jeff Burris. Dude, that was amazing. Hall of Fame guys. I'm a football buff Hall of Famer. I got my Hall of Fame helmet right behind me with all those autographs on it. So interviewing guys like that, been in the league, are literally immortalized in football. It was unreal.
Yeah. Well, very good. Tim, week one. It's knocking on our door. I'm Rob. That's Tim. This is Game Day, week one, Walter Camp, presented by Gridiron1880.com. We'll see you out there. We're going to be live at Mohegan Sun coming up this fall. We'll have Walter Camp alums there. We'll be broadcasting live along with college bowl season. Any given season is the name of their podcast. Ours is Game Day, so we'll do Game Day live up there. Come up. We're going to be at Mohegan Sun Sportsbook. We'll be giving out the times, and it's the games that we're going to feature. Like I said, we'll have alums from those teams and those schools, and giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff. We'll be up there live, and Tim won't be jet lagged coming back from his international travels.
Can't wait, Rob. Thank you.
That's Tim. I'm Rob, watching Walter Camp Game Day Week 1. We'll see you later. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.
Have a good one. Enjoy the games.